Have you ever just stopped and wondered how those insane 3D worlds in movies and video games get made? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a pretty simple three-step trick, and we're going to break it all down for you right now.
I mean, look at this. These kinds of visuals are everywhere now, right? In the biggest movies, the most popular games, the level of detail is just wow. It feels so real you could almost just reach out and touch it. So how on earth do they do it?
Seriously, how does a bunch of code on a computer screen become that? Something that totally fools our eyes into believing it's real. Is it just, I don't know, some kind of digital sorcery?
Okay, so no, it's not magic. It's actually a super clever process, a pipeline, you could call it. And it can take any idea and turn it into a 3D object in just 3 main steps. So let's dive in.
All right, step 1 is what I like to call the digital blueprint. Because before you can do any of the fancy stuff with colors or lights, you gotta actually build the thing, right? You need its shape. And that process is called modeling. The best way to think about it is like digital sculpting. An artist is basically creating a mathematical blueprint, a digital skeleton of an object's surface right there inside the computer.
Okay, but hold on. The real world isn't all straight lines and sharp corners. It's full of curves. So how do you get all those smooth, organic shapes?
Well, they use this really cool tool called a spline, and the easiest way to get it is to imagine these little control points are like invisible magnets. The artist can just grab one and pull, and it bends the line into this perfect, smooth curve. You don't have to draw anything pixel by pixel. It's super efficient, and it's how you get all those beautiful, smooth outlines.
But here's where it gets really wild. Those curves are just the outline. The actual surface, the skin of the 3D model, if you were to zoom way in, you'd see it's actually made of thousands, sometimes millions of tiny little flat shapes. We call them polygons. It's kind of like how pixels make up a 2D image. You get enough of these simple little polygons together, and you can build any complex surface you can dream of.
Okay, so we've built our object. It exists in this digital space. So, on to step 2, what the camera sees. Now that we have this 3D world, how do we actually, look at it? And this is the big problem we have to solve, right? We've created this awesome, complex 3D world, but you're watching this on a flat 2D screen. So how does the computer figure out what part of that 3D world to actually show you?
The solution has a kind of technical-sounding name, hidden surface removal. But don't let the name fool you, the idea is super simple. The computer is smart enough to figure out which surfaces are blocked from the camera's view, and it just doesn't bother drawing them. This saves a ton of processing power.
And here's the trick to how it works. For literally every single pixel on your screen, the computer asks one simple question. Of all the things I could draw here, which one is closest to the camera? It's like a tiny little race for each pixel. The closest object wins, and its color gets painted on the screen. Everything else that's hiding behind it, totally ignored. Simple as that.
Which brings us to the final step. Step 3, painting with light. This is my favorite part. We've got the shape, we know what the camera is looking at. Now it's time for the real magic. The stuff that breathes life into the whole thing and makes it look real.
And really, it all just comes down to faking how light works in the real world. So think about a dull surface, like rubber. Light hits it and scatters everywhere, right? That's called diffuse reflection. But on a shiny surface, like chrome, you also get those bright, sharp highlights. That's specular reflection. The computer just simulates both of these to create the look of anything, from a tennis ball to a polished sword.
And we absolutely cannot forget about shadows. I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, with no shadow, that cube just kind of feels like it's floating in space. But you add that one simple shadow, and boom, instantly it feels grounded. It has weight. It feels like it's actually part of the world. That's how important shadows are.
You know, getting this realism didn't happen overnight. It actually evolved through 3 main stages of shading. So let's do a quick fire round and see how we got here.
First up, you have flat shading. This is as basic as it gets. Every single one of those little polygons we talked about just gets one solid color. It's super fast for a computer to do, but yeah, it looks pretty blocky and retro. Think of those really old classic video games.
Then came garage shading. Now this was a really clever leap forward. Instead of one flat color, it smoothly blends the colors across the edges of the polygons. And what that does is it hides all those blocky edges and creates a really convincing illusion of a smooth, curved surface.
And finally, we have Phong shading. This is the one that really changed the game. Instead of just blending colors at the corners, this method calculates the lighting for every single pixel on the surface. And that is how we get those amazing, crisp, realistic highlights that sell the illusion of a truly shiny, reflective surface.
So when you put all of that together, you can really see the whole journey, from a simple, flat blueprint all the way to something that looks almost real. So let's just recap the whole thing, right? First, you model the shape. That's our digital blueprint. Then, you tell the camera what to look at, figuring out what's hidden. And finally, you paint it with light to make it look real. Model, camera, light. That's the whole trick right there.
So the big idea to take away from all this is that every single incredible 3D world you've ever gotten lost in, it isn't magic at all. It's just a brilliant pipeline of clever math and incredible artistry, all working together for one purpose: to trick your eye into seeing a reality that was built from absolutely nothing.